Clover Park is one of the state's 5 technical colleges. We're a part of the 34 college community and college system here in the state of Washington. Although we kind of defy easy definition because we are also a technical high school and a baccalaureate institution. So it's one of the few places in the state or the region where you can earn a high school diploma. You can earn an associate degree, and you can also earn a bachelor's degree, which is pretty neat. We've been around for about 80 years. We offer about 50 programs, and our main campus is located in Lakewood, Washington. Sure, makes sense for the college, makes sense for me. For the last 7 years, I've been heavily involved in workforce development and apprenticeship, so it's a meaningful partnership. Anytime you can expand a model like apprenticeship, you want to take advantage of that for the benefit of your students if you can. The partnership supports our mission and our core values in a number of ways. Our mission is to educate the workforce of tomorrow, so we are constantly trying to think about innovations and disruptions in the workforce and economic development system, and certainly we've seen that over the course of the last year. One of our core themes is workforce education, and if you're not familiar with apprenticeship, there's probably no better method of workforce education, no more effective method of workforce education than apprenticeship, because participants earn a living wage and benefits right from day one. And over the course of their apprenticeship, they leave with a certificate, a degree, they leave with a resume, and they leave with the first job on the path towards a career. Well, as I mentioned earlier, innovation is something that's very exciting for us. Moving to the virtual arena is something that we've talked about in our system for years and years. The thing that the last year has kind of really put a spotlight on is the importance of looking at distance learning, virtual instruction, not as sort of a plan B that you break out only in the case of emergency, but as a core application of education and training. And so what's been really exciting for me, as a dean, as an administrator, is watching over the last year, having the opportunity to conduct observations of our faculty in an online setting where they've really figured out how to build engagement, apply adult learning principles. It's been pretty remarkable, and we know that moving forward into the new normal, this is going to be a part of our our core mission, core values. So really excited about what we've done in the past year and what that bodes for the future. I think the other thing that, especially the folks at the Training Trust, what they've done with virtual delivery, is in the state of Washington, I think we've done a pretty good job of perfecting the online lecture. The 2-year colleges have done a good job. 4-year schools like Western Governors have done a really remarkable job. The gap has been in creating a virtual lab where students can get the lecture, but they can also get the practical skills in a setting that's both safe and effective. So I think watching that and being a witness to that has been very exciting. With apprenticeship, you may not understand that apprenticeship is employment and education. In order to have apprenticeship, you have to have an employer-employee relationship. There has to be a job. So in a pandemic or a recession or another disruption, if the jobs go away, there is no apprenticeship. You have to have employment. So some industries, food service is a good example, would probably have been much more impacted by COVID-19 than, for example, the industries that are historically represented by apprenticeship here in the state of Washington. So on a positive note, those traditional fields, construction, firefighting, now healthcare growing into apprenticeship, those fields have done a good job historically of protecting the safety of their employees. So they have a sense of safety, they have a good sense of personal protective equipment, and they've historically weathered these storms a little bit better. They've resisted pandemics and recessions, and those fields, although they've seen a slight dip in employment, they've still been relatively robust and have a pretty bright future. So from the on-the-job training perspective, there hasn't been that much of an impact relative to other fields. For the related supplemental instruction, sort of the classroom piece, the pivot has really occurred with moving more of that instruction to an online format. And I think we've been able to do that pretty well. We've been able to move a lot of the theory into online delivery and distance learning delivery. So we haven't seen quite as much of a disruption in apprenticeship as non-apprenticeship programs in fields that have been more directly impacted by the pandemic. So when Laura Hopkins reached out to us and talked about a partnership with the Training Trust, we were really excited. I will also say I was a little nervous because at that point, especially prior to COVID-19, we were kind of bursting at the seams. We have a dozen healthcare and nursing programs here at the college. And even with a 55,000 square foot facility, which is only about 10 years old, we didn't have room for all of the students and staff and faculty that we had at the time. So coming up with a good space, a suitable space, was something that worried me just a little bit. However, when COVID really hit, as we moved some of our classroom delivery into an online modality, some space did open up. And one of those spaces is this particular classroom in our previous health science building. So it has water hookup, it has the right connections, it's a pretty good space. We had some other equipment lying around, so working with Mark Beaufet, we were able to design a suitable classroom. We put in a little bit of sweat equity to make it look suitable for the students. Back in my days as an admissions counselor, talking to students, prospective students, about their career choices sort of underscored with me that we have, when we enter exploration of a career, sometimes a myopic vision of what that field actually is. My mom was a nurse, and I was at one point a firefighter and EMT. So I also, suffer from that as well. I think of healthcare and I think of direct patient care. But the field of healthcare is broad. There are a number of opportunities for prospective applicants to look at fields other than, say, nursing. I think the Training Trust has done a fantastic job of envisioning an apprenticeship portfolio that includes both clinical and non-clinical opportunities. They're doing some good development in pharmacy technician, central services, sterile processing. Over the last year, we partnered with the Training Trust on a grant application to the Lieutenant Governor's Office, received funding, and have recently developed a non-clinical pathway using apprenticeship and distance learning for behavioral health. And so I think the thing to do if you're concerned about a field where you're going to have to be in a person-to-person classroom setting or on-site, talk with one of our advisors. Go to our website at cptc.edu. Talk with the staff at the Training Trust, and just be prepared to be amazed that there are lots and lots of opportunities in healthcare that you may not have thought about. And I'm sure that if you investigate, you will find something that's going to be a good fit for you.